Well, as our time in isolation goes on, certainly nerves can be wearing thin at home for parents and children. Dr. Saunders is a child psychologist at Hartford Hospital's Institute of Living. Thank you for being with us again.
Thank you, Kara.
This is tough. Nearly 4 weeks of social isolation can be difficult for adults, let alone children. Let's start there. What's it like for children at this time?
Well, I think actually some children are settling into this routine, right? The first couple weeks were the hardest because that's where it was completely new. It wasn't a spring break time, it was early March. So I think kids are settling into more of a routine. I also think it's helpful that everyone they know is doing the same thing. So it's not like any 1 or 2 kids are pulled out of school. It's all kids out of school. So the hope is that they're settling in a little bit.
Yeah, they don't have the FOMO. They're all in that together.
Right, exactly.
So what are some of the emotions that children could be experiencing, though, from the changes, like not being able to play with their friends?
So, these are all adjustments, and the theme that we're promoting is tolerating uncertainty. So these are uncertain times, and the flip side as the weather gets nicer is that kids want to go out and play more, not just in their yards, but with other kids. So that's going to be the confusing message. So as the weather's nice and we're saying kids go outside, do things, we're also saying, but you have to stay in our own yard. We're not going to be playing with other kids in the neighborhood. So that gets a little confusing. And so it's just reasserting the reasons and the boundaries and why we're doing this.
Now, I have seen some families go to parks and say, we're going to walk. You can see your friend, they're over there, but we're going to stay 6 to 10 feet apart. Is that okay?
Well, I think, we need to follow guidelines. And while the phrase that we've been using for the past month is social distancing, I like to think of it more as physical distancing. We need social connections. Social connections are what feeds our souls. We are social beings. Kids absolutely need those social connections. So finding creative ways to have those social connections, and it might be through various online resources, it might be seeing friends from afar, doing things that are a little bit more creative, but the reality is we need the social connections. We just need to be a little bit more creative about how we do them.
Are there some behaviors that parents need to be concerned about to show that the child's really struggling and needs help?
I do think that, those kids that are more vulnerable, kids that are more prone to depression or anxiety are going to be experiencing more difficulties at this time, so we do need to keep a closer eye. There are resources available through the Hartford Healthcare Behavioral Health Network, certainly also at the Institute of Living. So there are some resources available for parents that need to reach out for help. But I think the other message is to ride the wave. Sometimes kids just have a bad morning or a bad afternoon. Ride the wave. Let's hope that they had an okay day yesterday. They're probably going to have an okay day tomorrow. So let's just get them through this difficult period of time. Identify what's going on. You're bored. You're experiencing anxiety. Identify it. Ride the wave, and hope that mood will shift.
What happens when you lose it and you're trying to be a good role model for your kids, but maybe you have a bad day and you end up yelling at them, or you end up handling things in a way you wouldn't because of the stress you're under?
So we are all having bad days. There is anxiety energy in the air, and it's okay for us as parents to say, listen, you kids take a break. I need to take a break too. We all need a little bit of space from each other. This, amount of closeness is not what families typically experience because parents go to work or kids are at school. So, and spring break or other breaks, weekends are limited time periods. So it's okay to acknowledge that we all need space and we all need breaks. We are not Hallmark families, and we do not need to be together all the time.
So it's okay if your family game night does not look like the television of Brady Bunch.
Family game night will probably not look like the Brady Bunch, although some of those Zoom meetings do look like the Brady Bunch. So
yeah, well, we're learning from our kids for sure. They're teaching us how to Zoom and use House Party and all these other things. So I guess that's an upside.
Absolutely.
Dr.
Yes,
Saunders,
definitely.
thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kara.